Hello, Gnome teams, students, and parents. It's Mr. H here trying to get his social studies update on. My computer has had all kinds of hiccups and crashes, and we're now on maybe take 4 or 5, and I think this is my third computer reboot, so hopefully this one works. How are you all doing? I hope you had a wonderful week, albeit kind of a wet one, although the weather is looking a little bit better today, and hopefully this weekend it will be nice. So we are here on the 5th day of June. And I wanted to kind of catch you up on a few things that we have been doing and what we will be doing in social studies. So we just finished on Wednesday we finished with the test. Thursday we finished talking about our unit on ancient China. So the test was finished. We have a few people who are still taking their time finishing it, but I'm grading it right now, and hopefully we'll have it back on Monday and or Tuesday, depending on how long it takes me. But I should be done over the weekend and get it done and have it back on Monday and in the grade book on Monday. So if you're looking for a grade, that's hopefully when it will come. We did something kind of an interesting experience, and maybe your students talked about it with you last night on Thursday to finish our unit on China. We talked a little bit about Taoism and Tai Chi, and we decided we would try an experience with Tai Chi, which was very interesting, watching students do their moves in the classroom. And it was an interesting experience. So if you haven't talked about your child or talked with your child about their Tai Chi experience yesterday, you might want to try it. So today and a little bit yesterday, we started our last final unit of social studies, which is a unit on ancient Japan and ancient Korea. So the students got this green sheet yesterday, which is their unit overview sheet. I'll put that in there on the computer so you can kind of take a look at it with the vocabulary that we need to master for this unit. We then started this assignment, which is called the Geography of Japan. It has a little bit of Korea in it as well. This assignment was due at the end of class. If students didn't finish it in class, then they needed to take it home to get it finished. Some people did finish it in class. Lots of people did not. So that's something that they'll have to work on. On Monday, we are going to talk a little bit about Korea. We did talk about Korea a little bit today with the three kingdoms as definition. We talked about a king whose name is Senjun the Great, who was a Korean king who created an alphabet for them. He did a lot of other kind of interesting and important things. So we talked a little bit about those guys, and we'll talk a little bit more about Korea on Monday, and then we're going to get into Japan kind of in earnest all the way through the rest of the year. So we'll talk about feudal Japan, the shogun, the kind of structure of society in medieval Japan, and that, of course, brings us to a lot of interesting and fun conversations about samurai swords, katana blades, those kinds of things that it tends to be interesting, and it's nice at the end of the year. It keeps people interested. So we'll continue talking about Japan through the end of the year, right around the time that the EOG tests come, which are for us the 17th of June and the 18th of June. We'll start to do an assignment in class, which is going to be a read aloud. I'm going to read this story, which is called Samurai Shortstop by Alan Gratz, who's a relatively local author. He lives out in Penland, North Carolina, in the mountains not far from Asheville. And he wrote a story there. It takes place during Meiji Japan, which is during this Reconstruction, where they started to move away from the shoguns, away from feudal society, away from, because some would say, traditional values, and moved towards a more industrialized nation and bringing themselves into the 20th century. It has a baseball theme, but that's not really why we read it. We read it because it talks a lot about the main character's dad is a shogun and needs to give up his swords and doesn't necessarily want to, and is trying to struggle with his traditional values versus his kind of looking to the future, and his son wanting to look towards the future, not the past. And it's an interesting story. So we'll do a read aloud for that at the end of the year, and it's a fun story. Now, that is basically what I had to kind of update you on here in class. I did want to bring up two more very important things. Number one, you might notice that I am wearing a fleece sweatshirt in my classroom right now because it is freezing in this classroom right now. This time of year, the air conditioner kicks on pretty hard, and this room, for whatever reason, gets a double dose of AC. So I talked about it with your students this week that they need to be ready for that. It's not something that I can have any control of. It's not really anything that I can change. We just have to be prepared. And so coming with shorts and a t-shirt to social studies class, you might be a little bit chilly. So sweatshirts are a good idea. You can always take the sweatshirt off if you get warm, but if you're cold, it's a hard learning environment. So bring a sweatshirt. And the second thing we want to talk real quick about is June 9th is a very important day here on the GNOMES team. June 9th is a day that Mr. Farrader does not like to recognize, but it is the day that he turns 1 year older. So we are working on a slightly funny thing that we're going to do for Mr. Farrader that is inspired by the Chinese New Year, and we are going to bring some streamers, the things you can buy at Target or the dollar store, in the party section, and we are going to basically throw them across the room and create mock fireworks for his birthday. So if your student is asking for something that revolves around a streamer, that's what that's for, and we're going to do that on Tuesday for him, and that's, I hope, going to be fun. We'll surprise him. Little fireworks. So anyway, if you have any questions, if you have any problems, if you need anything from Mr. Hutchinson or from Social Studies, please send me an email and let me know. And if not, have a lovely weekend, and I will talk to you next week.